Good day, everyone. This is Social Studies, Grade 7A and B. Your teacher here, Miss Michelle Joy. This video will serve as a makeup class for the students who aren't able to attend our class. Also, this video will serve as a recap for the students who attended our virtual class. Let's proceed to our online discussion now. Class, before we proceed with our online learning discussion, I would like us to have a short recap of the last topics that we have discussed before your semestral break. So we have discussed about the three photographs used in maps. There are three photographs used in maps. They are the following. Number one, landscape. Number two, aerial. And number three, satellite. So these are the three photographs used in maps. Now class, let us study about the objectives of our lesson for today. So the first one, students must be able to know what time zone is. And the second one, students must be able to know what prime meridian is. So at the end of the lesson, I already expect that all of you already have the idea what time zone is and what prime meridian is. Now, these are the topics that we are going to discuss today. Letter A, time zone, and letter B, prime meridian. So these are the words to learn that we will be encountering all throughout our discussion. So let's discuss them one by one so that we will have an idea of our two topics for today. Please repeat after me. Region, standard, time zone, longitude, and the last one, prime meridian. Now let's discuss the meaning of these words one by one. Region means area, district, territory, zone, quarter, section, province, part, tract, and domain. So when we say region, it means an area or a zone or a place. The second word is standard. What is standard? It means model, normal, pattern, criterion, usual, average, common, banner, measure, and regular. So when we say standard, it means normal, it means average, or regular. Next, third word is time zone. Time zone means standard time or local time. So remember class that each country has different time zones. So of course there are countries that have the same time zone, but mostly the time zone is different. Next, longitude. It means length, distance, span, mileage, latitude, extent, measure, longness, lengthiness, and compass. The last word that we have is prime meridian. Prime meridian means the line of longitude located at 0 degrees. So this one is the prime meridian located at the middle of the earth, and this one, you can find this in Greenwich, London. So we are going to discuss this one later on when we read your book. So these are the 5 words that can help us understand our topic for today. Let's read them again. Region, standard, time zone, longitude, and prime meridian.
Let's talk about time zones. So the Earth is rotating, and that rotation is directly related to our time. The Earth rotates at the equator at a rate of about 1,000 miles per hour. If we use that math, we can figure out that every hour the Earth completes a 15-degree rotation. If we then factor in that the Earth rotates 24 hours in a day, our total trip after one day is 360 degrees. To help us mark each hour, we use lines of longitude. They're imaginary, but there are 24 of them. So they mark the hours that occur in the day. They also tell us our time zones. And this is not by coincidence. This was agreed upon by the countries to kind of make this marker help us determine what time it is on Earth. So if we think about the Earth in space, the lit half is the one facing the sun, and the other half is the one away. And if we attach times to it, if you are facing the sun, and the sun is directly pointed at you, that's 12 p.m., and if you are on the opposite side, that's 12 a.m., and the Earth is rotating counterclockwise, so we can figure out, well, if I'm going from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., that's where 6 p.m. is, halfway between the two, and then 6 a.m. on the other side. So now that I've told you that, if you watch that motion, rewinding it, right, so we'll watch that motion, look at the lines of longitude. Every hour, a 15-degree rotation puts a new line of longitude in the path of the sun, and also on the opposite side in the path of 12 o'clock midnight. So this is what's controlling our day and night cycle. And if we take that and we project it onto a map, we have our time zones. Now, there is a piece of this that's political. Some countries have made decisions to go into the time zone of another area just so that they could be a little standardized with their home continent, so to speak, or their home country. But for the most part, every line of longitude marks a time zone. And if you are traveling west from the prime meridian, time gets earlier. You go back in time, not literally, but when it's a certain time at the prime meridian, any position west of that, it's going to be earlier in the day. And on the opposite side, if you're traveling east, the time is getting later. All right, you may know this from traveling to your home countries during the summer, like Israel, or if you go to Europe. Going eastward, when you arrive in that place, it's a later time than when you left. That's where jet lag comes from, because your body was accustomed to the time that you left at, and now it's a new time zone, so you're not going to go to sleep at the time that you're used to. You're going to go to sleep at the time that you're used to, which doesn't always synchronize with the time of where you are. That's where that comes from. This is really a factor in helping us determine how much time is between different areas. Let's take a look at a sample question, right? Somewhat simple. So if it's 1 a.m. in New York City, what time is it in Denver? So in this particular question, they're giving you a time, 1 a.m., and asking you to look at the lines of longitude given and count backwards. So we know that New York City is east of Denver, so it's earlier, because it's closer to the prime meridian. It's earlier in New York City than it is in Denver. So Denver would have to be a few hours back. Well, how many hours back? You count by lines of longitude. So if we're going backwards here, if it's 1 a.m. here, then we're going to go back about 2 time zones. Okay? So the Eastern time zone, it's 1 a.m. If I go back to an earlier time, this would be 12 a.m. If I go back even further, one more to the Mountain time zone, this would be 11 p.m. So Denver it's 11 p.m. in Denver when it's 1 a.m. in New York City. Okay, that was a simple example. We will take a look at some more complex ones and make our own time zone wheel in class. Thanks for watching.
Now, class, what do you mean by time zone? So please open your social studies book on page 15. What is time zone? So a time zone is a region that observes a uniform standard time. So a time zone refers to any 24 regions loosely divided by longitude where the same standard time is kept because there is an agreement in every country, and then they follow this agreement, they follow this uniform standard time. Next, importance of time zone. So what do you think the importance of time zone is? So why is time zone important? So time zone is important because of several reasons. So we are going to discuss three reasons why time zone is important. So it tells you the right time in a place because I told you not every country or most countries have different time zones. Number two, it helps planes and ships in transportation. Therefore, they won't get confused about the time. And the third one can help in business and building railways. Now, class, let us study about facts about time zone. So, what do we know about time zone? Is it only about the time difference of each country? So, let's read. There are 24 time zones in the world. So, we are going to discuss this one later on. Prime meridian is the 0 degree line of longitude. So, this one is the prime meridian. Next, the east of the prime meridian is ahead. So let's say in Asia, which is eastern part of the earth, is November 2nd. So it means in the western part of the earth is November 1st. Next, number four, the west of the primary region is behind, okay? Because I told you already in our discussion that the sun rises on the eastern part of the earth. So it means the sun will shine later on that part of the earth. Number five, there is 1 hour difference between each time zone. So one line of longitude or one grid line equivalent to 1 hour. Number six, the Earth rotates from west to east, so the eastern part of the world will see the sun rise first. And the last one, every place within a time zone has the same standard time. So we are going to give more examples later on for you to know more about what time zone is. Let us study about the Republic of Kiribati. Please open your social studies book on page 16. So this is the island of Kiribati and this is North Pacific Ocean. So why are we talking about the Republic of Kiribati? Because the Republic of Kiribati is the first country to see the sun in a new day. It's the easternmost country in the world. So Japan is known to be as the land of the rising sun, but the first country to see the moon in a new day is the Republic of Kiribati because it is the easternmost part of the world. Let us discuss about primary region. So open your social studies book on page 17. So this is primary region class. We have North Pole and South Pole. These are the primary region, or it is a 0 degree time zone where time zone started. It is located in Greenwich, England. So what do you mean by primary region? It is drawn through a town called Greenwich in London in the UK. Time measured at that point is called Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. This is where the world time zones start from. So anything to the right east of Greenwich is ahead in time, and anything to the left or west of Greenwich is behind time. I told you already the reason. It is mainly because the sun is rising at the eastern part of the earth. So we are ahead of time compared to the western part of the world. Let us discuss again about primary region. Let's just continue. So this is primary region class, and this is the lines of longitude, this one, or the 0 degree. So each grid line represents 1 hour. If you are going right, it means you have to add plus 1 hour, or it depends how many grid lines you see. But if from primary region you're going to the west, you have to deduct 1 hour. So -1, -2, -3 hours. It depends on how many grid lines you see. So primary region, each line is equal to 1 hour, which I mentioned a while ago. Time in each time zone is about 1 hour different. So it means each line means 1 hour. Okay, different. It can be earlier, it can be behind or ahead. It depends on where you are. Okay, are you in the western part of the world or are you at the eastern part of the world? It all depends on your location. Time in the map is about 7 hours faster than in the UK because Thailand is 7 time zones to the east of the UK. So when we measure from east to west around the world, these lines are called lines of longitude. So class, this is world standard time zones. So this is the prime meridian in here. You can see here 0 degrees. Okay, so in Greenwich, London, in UK. So from here, if you're going to the right, plus 1 hour, that is 12 hours. And then from 0 degree going to the left or western part, it is -1. You are behind. If it's November 2 here in Asia, it means November 1st in the western part of the world. So that is what you call world standard time zone, which is being recognized by all countries in the world. Class, let us discuss about the summary of the topics. So first, we have discussed about time zones. So time zones are broad strips that measure 15 degrees wide. So time zones differ from the neighboring time zones by 1 hour. It depends on your place and it depends on how many lines of longitude do you see. The continental US has 4 time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. So in the spring, we shift the clocks 1 hour ahead. This is called daylight saving time. And in the fall, we shift the clocks 1 hour clock. Okay. Next, we already have discussed also about the prime meridian. So the prime meridian divides the Earth in half too. So we have here the prime meridian in the middle means 0 degrees. It is also 0 degrees. So it passes through the community of Greenwich, London, in England. For your activity, so click the link in the Google Classroom to answer your activity, and your activity is live worksheet. So all you have to do is to click the link and answer this one. Okay, I explained it already to you anyway in our virtual class. So click this arrow down here to for you to see the choices. Click. Even here, just click here. You have choices. Every question you have choices. This is 10 points. And after you finish everything, then click finish to see your scores, and then screenshot it and upload it in a social studies album, term 3 activities, which I created yesterday. All right. Now, class, we now come to the end of our online learning discussion. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, ideas, or anything that you want to tell me, you please feel free to send me a message in my personal line account. Until then, I'll see you again next week. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you very much. Goodbye.